Stephanie White finally admits, what's going on with Caitlin Clark? It's bad.
Capable players, certainly play a little differently without Caitlin on the floor. We don't have setbacks, and that we're patient. I still don't know how far we are. We're going to take it one step at a time, one day at a time.
Stephanie White just let something slip, and it changes everything about Caitlin Clark's injury. After weeks of silence and scripted updates, the truth finally came out, and it's way worse than fans expected. This is more about damage control and less about injury update.
We don't have setbacks, and that we're patient with it. I know she wants to be out here on the floor, and we want her out here on the floor, but making sure that she's ready is the most important thing.
She didn't mean to say it, but once the words were out, it was too late. Stephanie White finally cracked. After weeks of silence, tiptoeing, and vague injury updates, she was cornered with the one question every fan has been dying to ask. What's really going on with Caitlin Clark?
And thankfully, she went on ESPN and didn't use the phrase blessing in disguise.
Now, let's be clear. Caitlin's absence hasn't just been a missing piece on the court, it's been the center of a storm. The WNBA's biggest rookie, the league's most talked about player, suddenly out with no timeline, no clarity, and a fan base begging for answers. You've got thousands of people tuning in just to see her play, and suddenly she vanishes behind vague phrases like arm soreness and precautionary rest.
We have updates, and our recovery's going well. It's just, I think, for us staying the course and making sure that we're really diligent about each step that we take.
And the fever? They've been tight-lipped. No timelines, no footage. Just enough breadcrumbs to keep the conversation going, but never enough to explain what's actually happening.
Remains without timetable for a return.
So when Stephanie White was finally asked about Clark, midway through a press conference, there was tension in the air. Everyone leaned in. You could feel it. Her response? We want her on the floor, but not at the cost of setbacks. That sentence hit like a brick.
It makes us more balanced on the offensive end, and the versatility that we have defensively.
Because here's the thing. That's not just a coach being cautious. That's a coach signaling something deeper, something they're not allowed to say out loud. If Caitlin were close to returning, if it was just soreness or maintenance, we'd know. But instead, we're being told to stay the course. We're hearing about diligence and steps. And that's a massive red flag.
I still don't know how far we are. We're going to take it one step at a time, one day at a time.
Stephanie even admitted, I still don't know how far we are. That's not how teams talk when a player's return is days away. That's how they talk when they're trying to buy time or protect something.
Of our group to know that we've got what we've got, to continue to grow and connect in those ways, and not, is she available, is she not available, will she practice, will she not practice, and sort of the disruption that comes with some of that.
Fans weren't asking for a play-by-play medical chart, they just wanted truth. But what they got was PR speak mixed with a tinge of concern. And make no mistake, White's tone didn't scream confidence. It was careful, measured, a little too rehearsed. The kind of tone that says, I'm telling you what I can, but there's a lot I can't say.
Patient. We've got to make sure that we understand, what we're looking for on the offensive end of the floor. We can't.
And then there's the word patient. Stephanie kept circling back to that. Patience with recovery, patience with timing. But let's not forget, this is a league fighting for every viewer, every headline. And Caitlin Clark is the headline. So the fact that they're prioritizing patience, even while every camera is waiting for her, says a lot.
Injury, and a lot of fans are not buying that at all. A lot of fans are saying.
Here's what's even more telling. White didn't give a return date, not even a rough guess. No week to week, no reevaluating after practice, nothing. That's not normal, that's not strategy, that's fear of being wrong, or fear of setting an expectation that can't be met.
Things that we have a benefit is our depth. So we're just going to continue to bring multiple bodies off the bench, try to wear them down. These players have been playing in this league a long time, and this is not abnormal.
And let's talk about the word she didn't use, progress. She never said Clark was progressing well. She didn't say she was close. She didn't say ahead of schedule. All she offered was this vague clinical tone about staying careful and avoiding setbacks.
We have to take it one game at a time, and we have to be where our feet are, and we got to attack a great Seattle team.
Even when she was asked about Clark practicing in close proximity to the team, she dodged. The recovery is going well, she said, but then immediately pivoted to patience, diligence, and caution. If that's your star player and she's on track, you don't talk like that. You celebrate it, you build excitement. None of that happened. And yet, this goes deeper than just Caitlin's arm.
You can't discount how important that is when you're playing for the person beside you.
Because if you really listen to what Stephanie's saying, there's something unspoken here, something bigger than just an injury. The team's playing better. They're winning without Clark. And White is focused, laser focused, on depth, balance, and team-first mentality. All of that sounds good, but it's also a quiet admission. The dynamic has shifted.
I mean, I think that the situation that we're in right now, every game is important. And, every game that we're playing is there's got to be a sense of urgency.
The elephant in the room isn't just Clark's injury, it's what the Fever are becoming without her. And White's entire press conference was balancing act, showing respect to Clark without disrupting the momentum the team's built in her absence.
Together, they're a connected group, and I think that that's really important. And we have capable players. We certainly play a little differently without Caitlin on the floor.
So when fans heard White say, "We're playing a little differently without Caitlin," that wasn't just a coaching note, that was a message. And maybe, just maybe, it's one the organization is still figuring out how to handle. Stephanie White was forced to speak, but in doing so, she may have told us more through what she didn't say than what she did. And for fans, that silence speaks volumes.
But the confidence that each one of these women has gotten in the ability to make plays in big moments, the depth that we have so that you really never can key on one or two players. We've got multiple players that can step up and...
So let's talk about the real storm brewing in Indiana. And no, it's not just about Caitlin Clark's elbow. We need to talk about what's really happening behind those Fever locker room doors. Because while everyone's been staring at the sidelines waiting for CC to come back, the team, they've been moving, and maybe, just maybe, they've started to like how it feels without her.
Team is good. It is a good team. They should be winning.
Let's start with what Coach Stephanie White actually said. The team is playing a little differently without Caitlin. And yeah, we heard that loud and clear. But what she didn't say was the part everyone's whispering about. Are they playing better?
I don't know that I feel like we've been consistent, but, being able to consistently string wins together, I think defensively, when we're disruptive.
Because the Fever are now riding a 4-game win streak, something that felt nearly impossible just a few weeks ago. The ball is moving, the defense is tighter, the vibes? Surprisingly cohesive. And smack dab in the middle of that shift is Ari McDonald. This woman came flying in like a cheat code.
We're just going to be that much more dangerous on offense.
Stephanie even said it herself. We don't have anybody with her kind of speed. That's not a compliment. That's a declaration. Ari isn't just a backup. She's been exploding into games, pushing pace, getting downhill, creating shots, and guess what? She's not doing it with a flashy highlight reel. She's doing it with grit, hustle, and textbook basketball IQ.
There's no timetable because I think they're on an away trip. What she's not been doing is basketball activity. She's been playing full speed.
And for those of you keeping score, this isn't just about Ari being good. This is about the Fever possibly stumbling into a better system now that they're forced to go deep into the bench. Players are stepping up, the offense looks less predictable, and defensively, they've become way harder to scout. It's like removing Clark shifted the gravity of the entire lineup, and the team adapted. Fast. If you've made it this far, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss the latest updates on Caitlin Clark. Now, let's talk about Dana Bonner.
Dana Bonner was the Achilles heel of the team, bro.
Yeah, I know. She's been out of the headlines, but hear me out. There's a theory that's been floating around, one the coach didn't confirm, but the results sure did. The moment Bonner left, the team started clicking. 4 straight wins, role players thriving, cohesion at an all-time high. Coincidence? Maybe, but let's be real, basketball never lies. The host didn't hold back either. Bonner was the Achilles heel. Whew. Strong words, but look at the timing, look at the tape, look at the energy. Sometimes it's not about skill, it's about chemistry. And when a player, no matter how talented, disrupts the rhythm or slows the pace, the team suffers. The moment that weight lifted, everyone else started to breathe and run and win.
So why in the hell does the WNBA continue to refuse to protect their cash cow?
It raises a shocking question. Was Clark surrounded by a flawed system all along? Maybe it wasn't the rookie causing friction. Maybe it was the environment around her that needed to be cracked wide open. And guess what? That crack might have saved their season.
They're watching her play because of the basketball, and she continues to prove her worth on the court every single time she steps on the court. And with that, she had a huge impact on elevating.
Now let's be honest, that's not just a mistake. That's drama. That's unspoken hierarchy. So is this about seniority, politics, locker room pecking order? Because one player was doing everything wrong and got a pass, while the other was doing everything right and got ignored. Yeah, that's a problem.
With Caitlin, they should want to win that game. I think they beat the Storm in Indiana.
Which brings us back to the woman of the hour, Caitlin Clark. Because here's where it gets weird. All of this is happening while she's still technically recovering. The host predicted she might be back in 2-3 weeks. But that's not coming from the team. That's coming from vibes and educated guesses. The team? Crickets. Not a date. Not a goal. Not even a "we're optimistic." Instead, we keep hearing things like step by step and no setbacks. Translation? She's not close, or worse, they're not sure how to reintroduce her into a team that's finally found its groove.
For Caitlin's long-term health, getting her back to 100% before you put her back on the floor.
And now here's the million-dollar question. Is Caitlin Clark going to return at 100%? Or are they going to rush her back at 70% because the league needs her face on the floor? Because let's not pretend that ratings and ticket sales aren't hanging in the balance here. This isn't just a recovery, it's a calculated PR strategy.
That 13,000 pairs of Caitlin Clark's new Nike basketball sneakers were being sold on June 30th.
The truth is, Caitlin's return isn't just about basketball anymore. It's about control, timing, team politics, and how the Fever plan to balance the brightest star in the league with a team that, frankly, may have found a way to shine without her.
Again, we don't know how bad it is.
What the hell is going on with WNBA that they cannot handle all this attention that they're getting?
Let's not pretend this whole Caitlin Clark recovery situation isn't a walking headline generator, because at this point, it's not just a comeback story, it's a full-blown media circus with popcorn, press badges, and Twitter threads. And the person behind the mic? Coach Stephanie White, the woman out here doing verbal gymnastics every time someone asks, "So, when's Caitlin coming back?" But here's where it gets interesting.
Fever had their best record they've had in over 10 years, and Caitlin Clark has something to do with that, man. They was 8-5 with Caitlin at the end of the day.
At the end of the latest video, the host drops this gem. "People talking about me? All press is good press." And honestly, that might be the unofficial slogan for the entire WNBA right now. Because let's be real, the biggest story in the league isn't Caitlin Clark playing. It's Caitlin Clark not playing. Her absence is the main event. Every pre-game press conference, Caitlin. Every post-game summary, still Caitlin. Every trending hashtag, yep, you guessed it, hashtag Caitlin Clark Watch.
She got it. She got it.
And you've got to ask, has the league been milking this mystery? I mean, what better way to keep eyeballs glued than a slow drip saga of will she, won't she? Updates that say nothing. Practices behind closed doors. A recovery that somehow feels more like a scripted delay than a sprain rehab. It's got drama, it's got stakes, and it's working.
Updates, and our recovery's going well. You know, it's just, I think for us staying the course and making sure that we're really diligent about each step that we.
So is Stephanie White just being cautious? Or is she protecting the brand? Because let's not forget, Caitlin Clark isn't just a rookie guard. She's the WNBA's golden goose, ticket seller, and headline magnet all rolled into one. Managing her return isn't about minutes restrictions, it's about media timing. But here's the twist no one saw coming. The Indiana Fever started winning without her. Which forces a very uncomfortable question. What if star power doesn't always mean team power?
We pull for one another, they're selfless, and they're capable. And, you know, when you have that, it just they've been resilient all year long, and they rally together, they're connected group.
That's where things get awkward. Because if your team looks more balanced, more connected, and let's say it, more successful without your biggest star, what happens when she returns? And does Coach White's "we're playing differently now" comment signal that she's not just managing an injury, she's managing a shift in identity? This is bigger than one player. It's about the league learning to live between two worlds, hype and harmony. The Fever are no longer just Clark's team, they're evolving, and that evolution, it doesn't care about jersey sales, it cares about wins.
Creates so much space on the floor because wherever she's at, that defender has to be on her. So it honestly just opens up the floor for the rest of her play.
So now, the biggest question isn't when Clark will return, it's how. Will she step back into a system that's already changed? Will the Fever adjust again? Or will they just keep riding the momentum and let the Caitlyn story keep selling itself until the timing is perfect? You heard it here first. Stephanie's subtle signals, Ari McDonald's rise, and the locker room shift all point to something much bigger. This isn't just about recovery, it's about recalibration. So, let's hear it. Should Caitlyn return this season, or should the Fever ride the hot hand and save her for next year? And trust me, you'll want to stick around, so make sure to subscribe to the channel to get more updates.